Hey guys, it's John here. Welcome to part 8 of my DVD collection. And I know it seems like I've been wearing the same shirt here in the last 2 or 3 videos. I do wash this shirt. It's just been real cold lately. I know we're in the fall, but we've been sort of in a cold snap. We're starting to get out of it. It's just this past week it's been real cold and a lot of rain, so I'm just trying to stay warm. So don't worry, the shirts are going to change. But again, here we are with part 8, and kicking off part 8 with this first one, we have Without a Paddle. Yeah, I hope you can see it all right. It's no sunshine today, but yeah, fun movie, fun comedy. Features, you have a commentary by director Stephen Brill, a video commentary by the cast and director, a making of by MTV's making of the movie, 13 additional scenes with optional commentary. Interesting. So, yeah. Without a Paddle's a fun one, fun comedy. Next, we have Fist of Legend. Pull it out. Yeah. But this is one that I still have to see. Again, I don't have a lot of Jet Li stuff for the collection. I want to get my hands on more Jet Li stuff. And this is one I still have to watch. I know I should watch it. So maybe I'll watch that today. But features, you have on disc 1 a feature-length commentary by Hong Kong cinema expert Bay Logan. Disc 2, The Man Behind the Legend, Brothers in Arms, The Way of the Warrior, The School of Hard Knocks. A look at the film with director Brett Ratner. I don't know what he has to do with the film, but yeah, Fist of Legend, I got that. And that's the Dragon Dynasty collection. Next, we have The Skeleton Key with Kate Hudson. This is one that I don't really remember much about. I did watch this film, I think last year, and I don't remember much about it. Can't say that's a good thing or a bad thing, but maybe I need to rewatch it again to sort of refresh. Features, you have Kate Hudson's ghost story, exploring voodoo and hoodoo behind the scenes of the film. So, yeah, I got that. The Skeleton Key. Let's see. Next, we have Awakenings. If you can see it all right. Not the brightest, but yeah, really good film. Robert De Niro, Robin Williams, I thought did a great job with their performances. It's just a great dramatic film. Directed by Penny Marshall. I forgot that, but yeah, Awakenings is a great one, so I got that. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. Next, we have a fun movie, underrated comedy in my opinion, Anger Management with Adam Sandler, Jack Nicholson. I thought these two were having a ball. Just a lot of fun moments. Same director of Tommy Boy. And I know he went on to direct Grudge Match, which I don't like. But I thought he did a good job with this one. And Adam Sandler, again, and Jack Nicholson were a lot of fun. Fun chemistry. A lot of fun scenes. Some good features. Yeah, Anger Management's a fun one. I don't know why it's getting stuck. Take that off. Next, we have The Specialist. Sylvester Stallone, Sharon Stone, James Woods. I remember this, it's an okay flick. A decent Stallone film. Definitely not a favorite. But I like The Specialist. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I do like The Specialist, so I got that. Next, we have a good flick, underrated flick, Congo. Yeah, I like Congo. And I know it seems to be the butt of the joke a lot of times. You know, a lot of people pick on this movie. And if you hear some of the background, it's just wind. We've had a lot of wind this past weekend. But yeah, Congo. Yeah, I love Congo. Directed by Frank Marshall, who I believe previously directed Arachnophobia, which I also like. Great movie. But yeah, I don't get why people pick on this movie. Yeah, I enjoy Congo. Great cast. But yeah, I got Congo. Can't talk today. But moving on, we have The Mangler, Robert Englund. I enjoyed this one. I saw this, I know it was this year, but I forgot when. It may have been during the summer, but I really enjoyed this. Not many people would talk about The Mangler, directed by Tobe Hooper. You have Robert Englund in the film, Ted Levine, who plays a good guy in the film, who is the lead character, which I appreciate, I liked. Yeah, The Mangler, I really enjoyed. To be honest, it's one of my favorite Tobe Hooper films. But, yeah, I got The Mangler. Good flick. Next, in case there's ever a rant, I do have this. Again, in case there's ever, in case of a rant, and I found this for cheap. Independence Day Resurgence. Again, this was probably $1. I think I found it for $1. Crappy, shitty, garbage. That's what this film is. I don't know why I saw this in the theater. What I was expecting, I don't know, but yeah, it's a piece of crap. Yeah, Resurgence, my ass. Yeah. Piece of crap movie. Moving on, we have Mannequin. Kim Cattrall. Good flick. I like Kim Cattrall at this time. She was a doll. I mean, Big Trouble in Little China, Mannequin, some other films, and who could forget the song, Nothing Can Stop Us. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Very good song. Yeah, Mannequin, it's a good flick. So I got that. I got that song in my head. Next, we have Frost Nixon, which I haven't seen, but I found for cheap. Academy Award nominations, 5 of them, including Best Picture. And I know it's something to do with Richard Nixon. Good cast. Kevin Bacon, Rebecca Hall, Toby Jones, Oliver Platt, directed by Ron Howard. So, yeah, Frost Nixon. So I got that. Next, which I've already shown the Karate Kid collection, but I do have this, The Karate Kid Part 3. Not a good sequel. I don't know why I have this when I have the collection pack, but I do have this one on DVD, so no features. Yeah, not a fan of that one. Next, which I haven't seen this one, Hostel, directed by Eli Roth. Once again, haven't seen. I don't know why, just, I guess to, more for the horror collection, the horror library, but yeah, I haven't seen Hostel, so you got 4 commentary tracks on this thing, so, but I got that. Next, one of my favorite box sets, we have the Star Trek collection. Yes, the first 6 films. I'll pull it out so I can show you real quick, if I can. And of course they're not in order, but Star Trek the Motion Picture, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. See if I can get it right, yeah. See if I can fix this here. Let's see, Star Trek 3, Search for Spock, good sequel. Let's see, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, which is my favorite. My second favorite is probably Part 3. Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier, which I like. I know seems like a lot of people don't. And Star Trek 6, An Undiscovered Country. Good one. And you have a Captain Summit, which is like a round table with all the captains. A discussion like with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes. If you're a fan of Star Trek and you don't have this box set, I definitely recommend it. I think I'm trying to remember how much I paid for it. I think it was like $50, but I've had this for like 3 years. Got it on loan. I've had this for a little while, but yeah, the Star Trek collection. Great box set to have. So I got that. You got the Sniffles, of course. Next, we have What Dreams May Come, which is a very good film. It's sort of weird watching this now because of Robin Williams, being gone, and it's about the afterlife. But the film is a visual feast and great performances from Robin Williams and Cuba Gooding Jr. Some making ofs, director's commentary, but yeah, What Dreams May Come, very interesting film. Yeah, well made film, but I got that. Next, we have Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze, to me a fun action flick from the 80s. Features, you have audio commentary with the director, you have another commentary track with Roadhouse fans Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, What Would Dalton Do documentary, a featurette, trivia track. Some good features on this. But yeah, Roadhouse is a lot of fun. Good movie. Next, we have Stir of Echoes, Kevin Bacon. One of my favorite ghost movies, by the way. Nobody really talks about this film much, but Kevin Bacon's great. Directed by David Coap. Yeah, Stir of Echoes is a good mystery, supernatural type of flick. Kevin Bacon's great. So, features, commentary track, behind the scenes, channeling the paranormal. So, I got that. Again, good movie. Next, I need to rewatch this one, but we have Bats, Lou Diamond Phillips. And yeah, I remember liking this one. Again, I haven't seen this in a while, but features, you have an uncut R-rated version. Let's see. Director and Lou Diamond Phillips commentary. Bats Abound featurette, Batty bloopers. So, some good features on here. But Bats, I need to rewatch that one. So, good flick. I like Lou Diamond Phillips. Next up, if I can get it out. There you go. Which I did see this film this year. I know that. And I thought it was a really good film. Wind River, Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen. And this one was really good. Really well directed. Good performances from these two. Sort of a mystery, thriller, suspense. And I like the locations. But Wind River, again, I thought this was really good. Definitely recommend this one. So I got that. Next up, we have Rookie of the Year, which this is a good one. Good little 90s film, which Daniel Stern directed. He directed this movie. Good cast. You have Thomas and Nicholas, Gary Busey, Dan Hedaya, Daniel Stern, Then you got John Candy in a small role. But yeah, good little family film. Rookie of the Year. So I got that. Next up, we have Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, which this is one that I'm not really a fan of. This is where the franchise to me started to go downhill, and the third one, which I don't care for, but I don't know. This one is just, it's a weak movie. It's a weak sequel compared to the first. I don't know, just maybe someday I'll get more into that when I review it. But Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, yeah, I mean, I used to like it more back then when I didn't know better. But I don't know, it's just a film I don't really care for a lot now. That's just me. Next, we have Lucky Number Slevin, which I saw this for the first time, I think, last year, and this was really good. Great cast. You have Josh Hartnett, Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley, Lucy Liu, Bruce Willis, and some good features. But I thought this was an entertaining movie. Yeah, entertaining flick. But that's Lucky Number Slevin, so I got that. Next up, we have The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, this is a good one. Not my favorite Arnold film, but I think it's a solid, sci-fi action flick, and I like the plot, so yeah. All the features are on the second disc. You have 9 behind-the-scenes featurettes, Repet infomercial and TV spot. Interesting. But yeah, solid, Arnold flick. So I got The Sixth Day. Next up, we have The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. Really good flick, directed by Peter Weir. I like the plot. That his life is this, TV show, and yeah, it's a great movie. What more can you say about this one? But I got The Truman Show. Next, which I haven't seen this one. I don't think I've seen this one, but I got it for cheap. Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell. And I'm not the biggest Will Ferrell fan. This is the only film that I have of his. But again, it was cheap, and I was sort of curious about it. But you can let me know about this one. But yeah, I got this one, Land of the Lost. Again, the only Will Ferrell film that I have. Next, we have The Neverending Story. Definitely a classic. I grew up on this film. It's a childhood favorite. I want to say back in the day, Disney Channel used to show this film. They wouldn't do that now. God forbid they show a classic movie. Features, you have notes and trivia on the book and its characters, and that's pretty much it. Kind of surprising there's not a special edition for this one. But a great movie. I don't have the sequels. Maybe someday I'll pick them up for the collection. I know they're not great. But yeah, The Neverending Story, great movie. Next, we have Notting Hill, Julia Roberts, which is sort of a romance comedy. Hugh Grant also in the film. I don't mind the movie. Again, it's not my favorite genre. It's not a genre that I go to a lot. But for Julia Roberts, I like Julia Roberts, so the movie's not bad. Notting Hill, not a bad movie. Next, we have Knowing with Nicolas Cage. I remember liking this movie, but I don't remember a whole lot. I know it's the same director who directed The Crow. I need to give this a watch again because I remember watching it. I remember liking the film, but it's hard. Like, I don't remember a whole lot. But yeah, I got that. Knowing Nicolas Cage. See if I can get these up here so we can get them ready. Next up, which I already showed this film as part of a double pack. So I don't know why I have this, but The Quick and the Dead. And again, I had this in a double pack with the Silverado because I think I was looking for Silverado and I found it and it came with this film. But yeah, I like The Quick and the Dead, so I don't know if I'll still keep this or throw it away. But yeah, I mean, so I already have it. But yeah, good flick. So I got that. Next, A Perfect Murder. Michael Douglas, Viggo Mortensen, Gwyneth Paltrow. Features, you have 2 feature-length audio commentaries by Michael Douglas. Andrew Davis directed this one? I did not know that. I forgot that, but I remember this being okay. I think I saw it once, and I haven't seen it since, but yeah, Perfect Murder for the Michael Douglas collection. So I got that. Next, great movie. And I need to get this on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's on Blu-ray, but I need to pick up the Blu-ray. Casino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, directed by Martin Scorsese. Yeah, one of my favorite Scorsese films. Probably my second favorite. But yeah, great movie, well directed, love Casino. Moving on, we have Lara Croft, Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. And this is a fun one. I actually saw this in the theater when it came out. I was at the beach, and me and my cousin, we were like, let's go see a movie. And this is probably 2001, but I do remember seeing this on a big screen. And this is a good one. Good video game flick. I need to go back and rewatch. I haven't seen the sequel. The features, you have digging into the Tomb Raider, crafting Lara Croft, the stunts of the film, visual effects, look at the Tomb Raider video game phenomenon, commentary by the director, Simon West, deleted scenes, and much more. Yeah, fun movie, Tomb Raider. Next, we have DC Cab with Mr. T and Gary Busey, I believe. Yeah, Gary Busey, directed by Joel Schumacher. I haven't seen this one, believe it or not, but I need to give it a watch. So, I got DC Cab. Let me know about that one. Here's another one which I haven't seen. You can let me know about. A Civil Action with John Travolta, which I think is a crime drama. You also have Robert Duvall in the film, James Gandolfini, Dan Hedaya, John Lithgow, William H. Macy, Tony Shalhoub. Great cast. The best legal thriller ever. But yeah, A Civil Action. So you can let me know about that one. I got that. Next up, another one which I haven't seen. The Deep, which stars Nick Nolte, Jacqueline Bisset, and Robert Shaw. I don't know much about this one, but I got The Deep, so let me know about that one. Okay, moving on. So grab a few here. Next up, and I have the Blu-ray, so I may throw this away since I have the Blu-ray. But we have Johnny Mnemonic. Yeah, this is a weird movie. Yeah, this one is a weird Keanu Reeves flick. You got Dolph Lundgren in the film who gets killed by a dolphin. I don't know if that was on purpose or a joke, but it's just one of those movies that has cool visuals. Keanu Reeves is fine, but it's kind of hard to put together. I mean, it's a weird movie. But Johnny Mnemonic, I got that. Someday maybe I'll talk about that. Next, we have The Lady Killers with Tom Hanks. I don't know why I'm coming in a little bit blurry. There you go. So I don't know how long it's been blurry. But The Lady Killers I haven't seen, but I found this for cheap. Directed by the Coens. Tom Hanks, Marlon Wayans, J.K. Simmons. So I do have that. Let me know about that one. Next, for the Steven Seagal collection, we have Urban Justice, which I have seen this before, and it's a good direct-to-video flick with a Seagal. You know, one of the good ones out of the 20, or not 20, but probably 50 at this point, shitty ones. This is a good one. Yeah, Urban Justice. Yeah, good direct-to-video flick. So I got that. Next up, we have this Kurt Russell double feature of Executive Decision and Unlawful Entry. Executive Decision, I'm not the biggest fan of. I prefer Unlawful Entry more because I like Ray Liotta and Kurt Russell. It's a good thriller. I don't know, Executive Decision I know a lot of people like. It's just not one of those, it's one of those action films that I don't watch much. It has a great cast, but yeah, not a lot of action throughout. But yeah, this Kurt Russell double feature, so I got that. If I wanted to watch a better version of Executive Decision, I watch Air Force One. But that's just me. I prefer that way more. But moving on, we have The Terminal with Tom Hanks, which I think is more of a dramatic romance film, directed by Steven Spielberg. I think Tom Hanks is a foreigner in the film, but haven't seen. I need to give this a watch. But The Terminal, so I got that. Trying to fix that pile right there. There you go. Okay. Moving on, we have Groundhog Day. Definitely a great movie. Classic. Features, you have audio commentary with director Harold Ramis, interview with Harold Ramis, The Weight of Time documentary, the study of groundhogs, which is weird, but this is the 15th anniversary edition of Groundhog Day. Again, great movie. One of my favorite Bill Murray films. Next up, we have School of Rock with Jack Black. And it's funny because I don't have a lot of Jack Black films. I mean, there's maybe a couple, but I don't have a lot of his films. I mean, but this is one that I do like and I enjoy. So, yeah, School of Rock. That's a good one. Let's see if I can... There we go. So moving on, grabbing a few here. We have E.T. Definitely a great movie, classic. Deleted scenes, and this is the bonus features. Steven Spielberg and E.T., the E.T. Journals, A Look Back, the evolution and creation of E.T., the 20th anniversary premiere designs. So, yeah, not a film that I watch much, that I go back and rewatch. I mean, I've seen it a few times, so, but E.T., definitely a great movie. It's just one of those that I've seen quite a few times, but I'm glad to own it. So, moving on, we have The Untouchables. Great movie. Robert De Niro, Kevin Costner, directed by Brian De Palma. Not a lot of features. I mean, you just have one featurette. You also have Sean Connery in the film, but yeah, I don't know. The special collector's edition, but there's not a lot of features. But again, great movie. Definitely classic. I need to rewatch that one. Love The Untouchables. Next up, we have Everest, which I got this for cheap. And this is a decent flick. You know, good performances from Jake Gyllenhaal, Josh Brolin. You also have John Hawkes in the film, Sam Worthington. You know, not a bad movie. I mean, I wouldn't call it great or a modern classic, but not a bad movie. So I got Everest. Next up, we have The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. And I haven't seen this one, but you know, for the Sandra Bullock collection. So yeah, I got The Proposal, so I got that. Next, we have Secondhand Lions, which this I haven't seen. I need to give this a watch. I've heard some good things about the film. Some good features. Michael Caine, Robert Duvall, Haley Joel Osment. But yeah, Secondhand Lions. Let me know about that one. In case if there's ever a rant, because I got this on a Black Friday, I think it may have been the year before, for real cheap. So again, you know, in case if there's ever a rant, I do have Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. So again, it was dirt cheap. But yeah, in the future, I'm sure if I ever get to this film, I'll rant on it. But moving on from that, let's see. This next one, definitely a great sequel, underrated sequel. We have Short Circuit 2, which this one I actually prefer. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You know, Fisher Stevens, Michael McKean, I thought they were fun in the film. You got a featurette actor profile on Fisher Stevens. But yeah, Short Circuit 2, again, is a lot of fun. Entertaining sequel. Entertaining flick. Next, we have definitely a great movie, comedy classic, Uncle Buck. Yeah, what more can you say about this film? Love John Candy. This is another one that I grew up with. This and The Great Outdoors I grew up with. I grew up watching. It's sad that this generation will never have a guy like John Candy. But yeah, I love Uncle Buck. Classic. I need to get the Blu-ray. Next up, we have this Richard Pryor stand-up comedy double feature of Richard Pryor Here and Now and Richard Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip. So yeah, this double pack stand-up with Richard Pryor Here and Now and Live on the Sunset Strip. So I got that. Miss Richard Pryor. Next up, Assassins with Sylvester Stallone, Antonio Banderas. This is a okay, decent flick. I mean, you know, Stallone and Banderas are not bad in the film. It's just, you know, I think in the third act, there's just I remember there's a big scene where there's like, I forgot Stallone's character's waiting in this tower and it feels like forever. So the film does have its slow spots, but it's not a bad movie. I like these two actors, so Assassins is not bad, but it's not Stallone's best. Next, we have this, which I haven't seen. I need to check out. Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston. Yeah, I need to give this a watch. I know it's a long one. Yeah, 212 minutes. So what is that, 3 hours? 3.5 hours? But I do have Ben-Hur, so I got that. Let me know about that one. Next up, I got this on a Black Friday. That may have been last year. A Walk in the Woods with Robert Redford, Nick Nolte, which I haven't seen, but yeah, got that. A Walk in the Woods. Next up, we have Guilty by Suspicion, Robert De Niro, which I need to check this one out. Annette Bening in the film, George Wendt. Good cast. All it took was a whisper. And that's Guilty by Suspicion. Let me know about that one. Next, which I actually saw this in the theater, The Purge Anarchy. And I like this one. I haven't seen the first one, but from what I understand, it's, I'm not missing much. And the stuff I've heard about it, it's not too great. But I like this one. Yeah, again, I saw this in the theater with a friend, and yeah, The Purge Anarchy, I liked. So I got that. Let's see, next, again, just grabbing a few here, so I have them ready. Next up, we have, if I can get it off, wants to get stuck, there you go. We have Hocus Pocus, which is a great, Halloween film. I know there's talks of doing the sequel, or they're trying to do a sequel, which you don't really need. You don't need a sequel to this film. I mean, come on. They're not going to bring back the cast, but yeah, Hocus Pocus, great movie. No features. Next up, Desert Heat for the Van Damme collection. I haven't seen this one. I know it has Pat Morita. Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Pat Morita, Danny Trejo. Yeah, this is one I haven't seen, but Left 4 Dead, Burning for Revenge. Let me know about that one. Again, for the Van Damme collection. Got Desert Heat. Next, Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner. And this one I haven't seen all the way. I know it's a long movie. A big hit when it came out that year. But yeah, I do have Dances with Wolves, so I got that. Next, definitely a great vampire flick and probably one of my favorites. From Dusk Till Dawn. Great movie. Features, you have commentary with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. Hollywood Goes to Hell featurette. The Art of Making the Movie with commentary by Robert Rodriguez and Greg Nicotero. Deleted Scenes. The Collector Series of From Dusk Till Dawn. Again, great movie. I don't have the sequels. I haven't seen those, but again, great movie. Next up, we have Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Good biopic. I mean, I know, this film does take some liberties. I know people say, oh, this didn't happen, whatnot, but Jason Scott Lee did a great job as Bruce Lee, and great score. I thought it was well directed. Yeah, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, I like. It's a good biopic. I know not totally 100% accurate, but I still like the film. Next up, we have Manhunter, which this is sort of a prequel, not a prequel, but they kind of lay the foundation for Silence of the Lambs because you have Hannibal Lecter, played by Brian Cox in the film. I haven't really seen Manhunter. I need to give this a watch. But yeah, William Peterson in the film, Tom Noonan, Manhunter. So I got that. I don't know what that is. Some writing on it, but I got that. Next up, we have Green Lantern. And this is a fun one. I mean, I know it's not... A lot of people give this film crap and, you know, oh, it's the worst. But I remember liking it. You know, having some fun with the film. I know it gets, you know, again, it gets picked on a lot. But I like Green Lantern. Sue me. But moving on, we have Rules of Engagement, Samuel Jackson, Tommy Lee Jones. Haven't seen, so you can let me know about this one. Some good features. Directed by William Friedkin. That's cool. But Rules of Engagement, so I got that. Next up, we have this Arnold Schwarzenegger collection pack of Twins, Kindergarten Cop, and Junior. Which I'm going to say Twins is getting a Blu-ray at some point. I thought I heard something about that, and hopefully that's, you know, that will happen. I know they're not going to get Arnold and DeVito to talk about the film, but I would like to see some features with Twins. But yeah, Twins and Kindergarten Cop are good comedies. Junior, it's just a weird movie. It's not Schwarzenegger's worst, but it's weird. But yeah, this Arnold collection pack. So I got that. Next, we have Dragonheart. Hope you can see all right. Good flick. I mean, Dennis Quaid. You got Sean Connery providing the voice. Directed by Rob Cohen, who I think directed Dragon and Bruce Lee's story. And again, good flick. Great score too, with Dragonheart. I forgot the name of the score, but yeah, Dragonheart's good. Let's see here. Grabbing these few, and let's grab these right here. Next up, we have Suicide Kings, which I have to watch. Christopher Walken, Sean Patrick Flannery, Jay Moore, Henry Thomas, Dennis Leary, Johnny Galecki. Good cast. So, yeah, I have to give this one a watch. So, Suicide Kings, I got that one. Next up, Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. Really good flick. He portrays Andy Kaufman in the film. And yeah, I mean, I know there was a documentary they made about the making of this movie on Netflix. I haven't seen. But I thought Jim Carrey did a great job, you know, with this one. So, yeah, Men on the Moon, really good movie. Well directed. But I got that. Next up, which I know this film gets a lot of crap. You know, people bag on this movie. But I like it. I mean, it's one of those films that I don't mind. I don't mind, but I don't watch it a lot. Pearl Harbor. Again, I know a lot of people bag on this movie. But, you know, some things I like about it. You know, it's not perfect. It's not great by any means. But I got Pearl Harbor. So I got that. Next up, we have The Pest with John Leguizamo. I've only seen bits and pieces of this one. Haven't seen it all the way, but I don't know. Well, I don't remember much about it. but I have the Pest, so I got that one. Next up, we have Eddie Murphy Raw, which is a stand-up from 1987. Adult-oriented material. Imagine that today. But yeah, Eddie Murphy Raw, so I got that. I know there's talks of that he's trying to get back to stand-up, but I'll see it when I believe it. Next up, we have a great Arnold film, Last Action Hero. Again, just a great movie, great idea. Directed by John McTiernan. I just really love the concept of Jack Slater and this kid who gets sucked into this movie, into this world, this universe. Which I know recently Arnold talked about maybe doing a sequel to this, but it's too late for a sequel. But Last Action Hero is great. 90s classic. Next up, we have Suspect Zero. I need to rewatch this one. I remember watching it, but I don't remember much about it. I know you have a good cast: Aaron Eckhart, Ben Kingsley, Carrie-Anne Moss. It's a mystery thriller, but Suspect Zero, I need to rewatch it, sort of refresh. I don't remember much about it, but I got that. Moving on, we have Weird Science. Definitely a great movie, comedy classic. Features, you have Resurrecting Weird Science, a 4-part retrospective documentary with the cast, and an episode from the TV show, the pilot, which I forgot about. But great movie, directed by John Hughes. Weird Science is the 80 classic. That's the flashback edition. So I got that. Next up, we have this 2-film collection pack of The American President, Michael Douglas, and Dave, with Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver, directed by Ivan Reitman. A good double pack. American President is more of a dramatic romance flick, and Dave is a good comedy, but a good double pack. So I got that. This next one, we have A League of Their Own with Tom Hanks. Really good film. Definitely a feel-good film. Great cast. Gina Davis, Laura Petty, John Lovitz, Gary Marshall, Bill Pullman, directed by Penny Marshall. Yeah, I need to get this on Blu-ray at some point. Yeah, League of Their Own is a great movie. 90s classic. Girls Don't Cry. But moving on, we have Entrapment with Sean Connery, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and this is the special edition, which have a commentary and a featurette, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I haven't seen this one, but for the Sean Connery collection, Entrapment. So you let me know about that one. Next up, we have a Bruce Willis film, The Kid, which this is a decent movie. I actually remember back in the day, I make it seem like back in the day, but in the year 2000, I flew to Arizona, and on the plane we watched this movie, and I still remember that. We watched The Kid. So that, I can't believe it's been 20 years, but I do remember watching this on the plane. Features, you got audio commentary with director and Spencer Breslin, behind the scenes featurette, a couple of other features, but The Kid, not a bad movie. Next up, we have a horror film which I haven't seen and need to check out. Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis Again, I haven't seen this one. I need to watch it. The Boys and Girls of Sigma Phi. Some will live, some will die. But yeah, I haven't seen Terror Train, so I need to give that a watch. So I got that. Next up, Eye for an Eye with Sally Field, Kiefer Sutherland, Ed Harris. Yeah, I haven't seen this one either, but I found it. You know, I was curious about the film, so I got that. An Eye for an Eye. Next, we have a great comedy, The Birdcage. Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman, and I actually like this movie. Yeah, this is a fun one. I thought Robin Williams and Nathan Lane were a lot of fun, good, you know, back and forth. You have an 8-page booklet inside featuring trivia, production notes, and the making of. Yeah. You know, good 90s comedy. So I got The Birdcage. Next up, we have Payback with Mel Gibson, and this is the straight-up director's cut, which I remember liking this film. It's been a while since I've watched it, but yeah, I remember liking Payback. I need to rewatch it. So I got that. No features, but Payback. Next up, let's see, roll my sleeves back up if I can. We have Three Kings, which I have to watch. George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, Ice Cube. Directed by David O. Russell. Yeah. Three Kings. Haven't seen. I need to watch. So I got that. Next up, we have Waiting. Ryan Reynolds comedy, which I've seen a couple of scenes from the film here and there on TV. I haven't seen the whole thing. I need to watch the whole thing, but I do have Waiting, so I got that. I know it seems like I've been speeding up along here, but moving on, we have Indecent Proposal, Robert Redford, Demi Moore, Woody Harrelson. This is a good flick. I thought it was a good, you know, plot. I mean, the cast is good, so Oliver Platt in the film. But yeah, Indecent Proposal, good movie. So I got that. Next, definitely a great action film. Deadbang with Don Johnson. I mean, pretty much it's Don Johnson versus white supremacists, which, you know, this is a film that, you know, I mean, Don Johnson didn't really do a lot of action films or films like, you know, where he's the lead character, you know, mostly known for Miami Vice and Nash Bridges, but he didn't do a lot of films like this. But Deadbang, it's this film that I wish he would have done more films like this, you know, more action films where he's the lead character. And yeah, it's a great action film that nobody talks about much. I love Deadbang. I'm a big Don Johnson fan, so moving on. These next few, kind of getting these last. I probably got about 20 more left. Next up we have Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Underrated Schwarzenegger flick. Schwarzenegger's great. Vanessa Williams, James Caan is a great villain. I need to get the Blu-ray. I would like to have this on Blu-ray, but yeah, great movie. No features, but Eraser's great. Entertaining. Next up we have The Shawshank Redemption. Definitely a classic. What more can you say about this film? Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, directed by Frank Darabont. Which actually, I prefer this more than The Green Mile. I just prefer this a little bit more, but yeah, great movie. what more can you say about that? Next, we have Final Destination 3, which I have the first two, but I just have the first three films. I don't have any more. I like the first one, but haven't seen the sequels, so but I do have that. Final Destination 3. I remember the fourth one sucked. But moving on, we have Stargate, Kurt Russell, which, funny enough, I actually prefer the series more. And I'm watching the series right now. I'm actually in season 4. I only have the first 7 seasons, and I have to get I think there's 10 seasons, so I have to get the last 2 or 3. And I don't remember, like I've seen this once before, and I remember it being okay, but maybe I'd like to go back and rewatch Stargate, since I'm into the TV show right now. And again, big fan of this show, which I prefer, way more. But the Ultimate Edition, audio commentary with director, producer, the making of Stargate, interviews with the cast. So, yeah, the movie, again, maybe I'll go back and watch Stargate, the film, to sort of refresh. But next up, we have Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Not a good movie. Yeah, I watched this like last year, and I don't know, it's one of those films, video game films, that's hard to get into because it's that bad. Van Damme's not bad, but it's a crap movie. Raw Julia, he does what he can. I know at the time he was ill, and he was pretty much near death, but it says collector's edition, but there's no features, weirdly. But yeah, Street Fighter, I got that. I could say it's one of Van Damme's worst. Next up, we have The Call with Halle Berry, which I haven't seen, but I picked up for cheap because I like Halle Berry as an actress. So I got The Call. Got that. Next up, we have 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag with Joe Pesci comedy. And this is one I haven't seen. I love My Cousin Vinny and the Super, but this is one, and Gone Fishing I have, but I haven't seen that in a while. But I don't know, maybe I should watch this one. So I got that one. And getting down to the last few, They Would Not Fall. Okay, here we go. Next up we have The Poseidon Adventure from 1972, I believe. Yeah, Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Shelley Winters. Hell Upside Down, the special edition. 9 all-new featurettes, and that's on the second disc. Plus an AMC backstory on the film, storyboard to film comparisons. Disc 1, you have a couple of commentaries, which is cool. But yeah, the Poseidon Adventure. So I got that. Next up, we have No Escape with Owen Wilson, Pierce Brosnan, which this is a recent film. It's more of an action film. Have to give this a watch. But yeah, No Escape. So I got that. Next up, we have this double feature pack of Men of Honor and Courage Under Fire, which I've seen Men of Honor, good flick. I haven't seen Courage Under Fire, so I have to give that a watch. Good cast. Denzel Washington, Meg Ryan, Lou Diamond Phillips. So, yeah, Men of Honor and Courage Under Fire. Double pack. Next up, we have this Van Damme double pack of Maximum Risk and Double Team, which these are two which I haven't seen. I need to, watch these. These are two Van Damme films which I haven't seen. I've heard a lot about. So yeah, one day if I ever do a Van Damme marathon, I have a lot of his films. So again, Maximum Risk and Double Team. So I got that. And more with the Van Damme. I got this Van Damme triple feature of Cyborg, Death Warrant, and Double Impact. Cyborg is great. Underrated, I would say. Underrated Van Damme film. Death Warrant's a lot of fun. You got Van Damme in this prison. You got Patrick Kilpatrick as the Sandman. Dream me a dream, Burke. And Double Impact is a great action film. You got Van Damme and his twin. Yeah, big fan of Van Damme. So, yeah, Cyborg, Death Warrant, Double Impact. Again, if I ever do a Van Damme marathon. Next up, we have Regarding Henry. Harrison Ford, Annette Bening. This is actually a good flick. Nobody talks about much. Good drama. The story of a man who had everything but found something more. Yeah, Regarding Henry is a good one with Harrison Ford. So I got that one. Next up, which is a film I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot about. I know I should check it out. We have Mallrats. And this is the collector's edition. So you got a feature commentary with director Kevin Smith and cast members. Over 1 hour of deleted scenes. Live footage from the feature commentary session. But yeah, you have to give this a watch. Mallrats. So I got that. Next up, and again, if you hear something, it's just the wind. We have Wild Things, which I haven't seen. Kevin Bacon, Matt Dillon, Nev Campbell. But I want to say they made sequels to this film, but I just haven't seen the original, the first one. So, but for the collection, I got Wild Things. Moving on, which I've seen the second one. I haven't seen this one. It's still wrapped up. Prometheus. Yeah, I have a feeling that I won't like this movie. I think I got it on a Black Friday for cheap, which is why it's still in plastic. Or may have been like the $3 bin, but yeah, Prometheus. If I ever do a rant, I got that. Next up, we have Summer School, Mark Harmon. I need to give this one a watch. I haven't seen Summer School. Directed by Carl Reiner. Kirstie Alley in the film. I don't know why I've never seen Summer School. I mean, I love, Mark Harmon and NCIS. But a lot of his films I haven't really seen, so you have to give this one a watch. Summer School. I know it's an 80s classic. And this last one for part 8, we have Rushmore, which is a comedy. Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray. Not much for features. But yeah, haven't seen. But Rushmore. So I got that. And that's it for part 8, which I actually counted, and I covered over 100 films in this part. So yeah, it's been like that for the last few parts. Like it's been like 100. So yeah, I got a lot. And but anyways, I want to thank y'all for watching part 8 of my DVD collection, and stay tuned for part 9. So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you later.